Charlie, yesterday, after the City game, Pep Guardiola has gone to the post-match press conference. And exactly why he is impressed about Enzo Maresca. And he had gone on to mention why it's going to be difficult for anybody to say the league will be won in December. Or something possible. According to Pep Guardiola, to be able to win the league, and you need to be able to do well in December. But it's about consistency because the season is long now. He explains largely how and what you need to do to be able to win the English Premier League. And my game on my boy against Newcastle United. But Enzo Maresca also in an extended chat with Chelsea for has spoken about the game plan for Leeds United. The plan of getting the extra man in certain zones to be able to get a win against Leeds United. He extensively spoke about it. It was a game of course, and Obian himself Football Club Barcelona at against team your friend Atletico de Madrid. And Atletico Madrid before this game were on a very, very good run of form. Now Barca for stopping and normally winning by 3-1. It means that Barca have had 5 straight La Liga games on my winning against Deportivo Alaves last weekend. They won against Atleti Club 4-0. They won against Celta Vigo also, and they won against Elche in a straight-up win for Hansi Flick and Emirates. So obviously, they are back on top of the Spanish La Liga. Of course, Pedri was back, Rafinha was back, Lamine Yamal was right there. So, of course, there was a brand here friend Rob Lewandowski, who was also right there in the conversation, which is very, very important for Football Club Barcelona to be able to get back to winning ways and get the goals that they do deserve, which is very, very important. Of course, and Erling Haaland made history. I mean, if you look at that player, the quality of service that he has had at Manchester City, how solid he has been in terms of how he has been able to score goals consistently. I mean, he's essentially seen as a robot these days, the world of football, because Erling Haaland is right there. If you want goals, if you want assists, if you want hold up play, everything that you want from a player, that's exactly what Erling Haaland will be able to do for you. He gives you goals. He gives you all the goals that you are looking for. And after the game, I'm going to be selling Haaland and say, how is he able to score this many goals? And also, it's his job, and he's doing his job. He is just doing his job, and that's the most important thing for him, sir. Obey Juma. When it comes to very, very important games, over there. Right, the game ended 5-4 in favor of Manchester City. They were leading by 5-1 at some point in time, and then of course, team friend Fulham came back, and then of course, made sure they pulled some back, and it became 5-4. For Tima, your friend Manchester City, of course, it means that Fulham actually goes to be they came back strongly to try and get some of the goals. Also matching, which is very, very important. We'll talk about all of that. I was on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. So subscribe to the channel now. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notification. In the notification, turn on. Michelle, do choose all. Just anytime your content will drop, you are first to have it. Last night, I don't know how Bournemouth stayed at home and the vitality against Everton. The codes were not for Bournemouth to win, but Bournemouth versus Everton, there was always the need for the part of an over 1.5, and that's why in most of the codes there was an over 1.5 for Bournemouth. That was the game that messed up everything. But I've said it several times. Over here, we don't lose back to back. If there is a loss at some point, the next day, at the very least, we come back and then we make sure that we get our way there on. So, and then, as you can see, like I told you after the Liverpool game over the weekend, man's not slept, gone through the data, gone through the games again, and then we are looking at making sure that today we make a huge comeback in some matches. And so, in the description of the video below, today's codes are ready. Your Betway codes and are ready. Our description anymore. Just give yourself a big chance. Pick up the codes, go and put them in your Betway app and give yourself a big chance. More the other groups more outside of Ghana. Obviously, we'll make sure some submit me account more there or pick up the codes in the description and then give yourself a big chance of winning and then we are going back again, and I'm certain say there's going to be a big win. Show say open car spare parts at all. I have a place for you. Your friend of Yesumo spare parts dealership shop or Accra, Abose Okain, post office area more or when I Yesumo. Now what he does is that every day be a open spare parts. Open say or look clean, or look solid, or obese or look kind of looking nice, or kind of spot on with everything that you want to do. Then Yesumo is your go-to guy. You just have to reach him out. Make sure so be free Yesumo on 05931382221. But if you are in and around Accra, yeah, or Abuse kind post office, you can take the car there and work as no honor. They'll do their job for you. But again, if you're outside of Accra, then that's what he calls the nationwide delivery. Friend, or making sure so be sending your man. My number is 05931382229. For Yesumo CCR, let him take very, very good care of you. Of course, on the other side, MOB clothing. MOB clothing. Makane several things say intade. Say ope top, round neck, Lacoste, trousers, Birkenstocks, shoes, slippers, whatever. Charlie, it is that MOB clothing. MOB clothing has the best set of clothes for you. Michelle Pa, or a flower to the station. To the station a flower. A flower to the what's a flower to the station too? Or to do the flower station or to do the honor the do to do and beside a flower station or Accra to do a flower station. That's where they are. So call them acts of MOB clothing. Nationwide delivery, open retail, open wholesale. Like anyhow you want the things to be done. MOB clothing will take good care of you. Michelle from 0200 668 708 0200 668 and then the Premier League Wednesday matches no go on, and like Pep Guardiola said, and now it is these games that make the difference, the consistency of it. Like I've said several times, these matches are going to be back to back because Chelsea play Leeds on Wednesday. I think over the weekend they play against Bournemouth. Then they go away to go and play against team my friend Atalanta in midweek again. Then they come and play, I think, in the league. Then the subsequent week they play against Cardiff in the EFL Cup. Then they go again. So there are a lot of games that are going to go on back to back. Or I say, every day there are going to be games. And that's where OTA, their Maresca'S, OTA, their my papa, a friend of Maurice, what's the name, Joseph Guardiola. I mean, these are the times where you make the difference. If you are, when they ask Maresca about whether his team can win the title or not, one of the things Maresca was very clear on, and he said he will not talk about winning the title right now because Chelsea are in just December, and the real difference is made in February thereabouts. And I can understand because his team has not gone through this spell for a long time. Last season, the December stretch was worried, and there is this image of Enzo Maresca that I like so much. Only players not our training ground and Fiifi. Now, if you look at the gaze of Enzo Maresca, you can clearly tell that he's telling the players that the season starts now. Whatever they have done as in the past, this is where the difference makes. Because if you compare Chelsea from last season to this season, the points they had last season by this time and this season by this time, Chelsea has one less point as compared to last season. So it means that it is the same Chelsea that last season was saying that, oh, Chelsea, more title racing, they can win the league, you're good. Then we entered December and it became bad. They lost against Fulham, they lost against Bournemouth, drew against Bournemouth. I mean, lost really games that Chelsea felt were winnable games that they should have gone on to go and win. So that became the problem. Now, it means that to make a difference this season, what Chelsea has to do is to make sure that this season, this stretch, December, they have to win their matches. And they start with Leeds United. And that is what I'm trying to say. Last season, Chelsea, if you look at the data alone, Chelsea are one less of in terms of points as compared to Tima and your friend Chelsea last season. So if you want to make the difference, but still Chelsea were struggling to get into top 4 last season. So what can be the case, or what is the case? What caused that? What caused that is that last season Chelsea lost important games in December, January, thereabout. So to be able to make a difference, what Chelsea have to do is to make sure that this summer or this December, this January, they win their games. They go into it and then they win their matches. They score and then they're able to make a difference. Then, of course, by the time we get to March thereabouts, you are in and around second position. Then you know you're in a good position to go on and then win the English Premier League, which is, of course, or at least compete for it, which is obviously the goal of Chelsea Football Club and everybody that's close to it. We'll see if that's exactly what Chelsea will be able to do. And it starts with team, your friend on Leeds United or English Premier League game. And for me, that is one of the most difficult games to go and play our English Premier League. When you go away from home, now come back against Leeds United, it is very, very, very difficult. Very difficult in the sense that Ellen Road is always pumping. So you see, venue be in England that near ding, they sing vociferously, on top of voices, up and down, to you, cheating you, push you, opposing side, they make it difficult for you. Then it's at Ellen Road. You don't want to go on and go and play against Leeds United or Ellen Road because they make it very difficult for you. Even the days of Marcelo Bielsa, they constantly made it very difficult for anybody to come and play against them at Ellen Road. So, I mean, it makes all the difference for Tima, your friend at Chelsea versus Football Club, Leeds United, they need to find ways. They need to find ways to make sure they go into the game to go and get the win. And Enzo Maresca mentioned how he was going to break down Leeds United for. We'll talk about that in the next few minutes. But Chelsea statistics, Estevan Willian, 18 years and 220 days, is the second youngest player to make 5 Premier League starts for Chelsea. After Jody Morris, 18 years, 115 days. Of course, oh wow. Then it means that Jody Morris was actually very young when he made his Chelsea start. I mean, so Jody Morris, he's a former Chelsea, assistant coach. Not only Frank Lampard, at the time when Frank Lampard was appointed Chelsea coach, that's when Jody Morris also came in to come and do the job. Emmanuel Petit on Chelsea, you'll see the team has such a big margin in front of them to improve, but still for me, they look impressive. And I think that is what a lot of people have gathered and why a lot of people are pitching Chelsea to be able to go in and probably win something this season. They say there's still a lot that they can improve on, but they still look good. So imagine you looking near perfect, but people still thinking, nah, we think you can do more. We think you can improve here. We think you can improve there. And that is the strength of Chelsea, that they can improve, but then still they are looking very, very good at home. And that's Emmanuel Petit, because, I mean, the strength of a team scoring when they are 10 man, when they are 1 man down against a very strong Arsenal side. Most of the Arsenal fans that keep on saying, oh, Chelsea fans are celebrating. What they don't understand is that Chelsea are celebrating because for the very first time in a long time, Chelsea feels that Arsenal are at a good place as a club than Chelsea. I mean, in terms of the performance and whatnot, they have obviously been good in the last few seasons than Chelsea. So for Chelsea to be able to, come at them, play the game with them, get the results, take the game to them, and then stand out in that regard, tells you how important this Chelsea team has been. And Emmanuel Petit goes on, he says, I've seen Arsenal struggling against Chelsea and they conceded a goal are playing 10 versus 11. When I look at Chelsea, from what they have done in the season so far, winning trophies, winning the Club World Cup, and playing against Paris Saint-Germain, they are able to win against every top team. They smashed Barcelona in midweek. That's what Emmanuel Petit said when talking about what Chelsea were able to do. Of course, Maresca did the analysis of what Chelsea has to do against Leeds United. Like I say, I'm going to get the Emmanuel Petit. I say, when I look at Arsenal players and the fans, I think the fans and everybody, even the players, they thought to themselves, maybe we missed an opportunity to put Chelsea 9 points behind us. We missed a huge opportunity on our part. Never somebody who has been very critical of the Chelsea project, saying Stott ball in Mone Baghdad Bali Mobile. Now he is beginning to revise his notes. Pat Nevin is revising his notes now. Pat Nevin is now saying, Charlie, now it looks as if what Todd ball in Baghdad and Bali Moye at the beginning of Yentio Masano. I feel no first, now what's the vision of Baghdad and Balios? No name the vision of Todd Bowley. He didn't understand what the plan was from them. But now it looks much more like an excellent decision. And this is what Pat Nevin says. Pat says that the rush dash for expensive young players on super long contracts now looks more like a wise, well-calculated, hard-headed business decision. And that is spot on. Now, that plan and Chelsea for Nikita to go into the season, to buy young players quickly, give them young contracts, take them away from the prowling hands of bigger teams who probably want to take those teams away from Chelsea. I think that it has made a lot of sense. I'll say, notably, manager Enzo Maresca is making some big and brave decisions to attack Arsenal when they are 10-man down and not replace Caicedo with another midfielder instead of keeping 3 forwards on throughout was, in retrospect, a bold masterstroke. It shows his growing belief not only in the players but in the overall long-term strategy adopted by the club 2 years ago. And that is the thing. And again, Maresca is doing wonders. I've said it several times that tactically, there are only a few people who are as close to Enzo Maresca in terms of what he can give you on the tactical board. Game planning, game preparation, understanding of the game. I mean, all of us do make mistakes in our line of work. So sometimes it becomes a little bit insensitive if we make it look like, Maresca made mistakes here and there. We all do make the mistakes, but this guy is obviously one of the best that you get. One of the best in the context of top managers. One of the best that you get. Enzo Maresca. Pardon even goes on. He says that Chelsea deserved a point at the very least against Arsenal, but a bigger message was delivered. The Blues' biggest problem until now has been the tendency of naivety. Slowly but surely, this season, that weakness has faded away, and an assured confident maturity has surfaced. That's all everybody's saying now. People feel now this team is beginning to get in terms of confidence. They are growing, they're understanding how they want to go in and go and play the games, and they understand how Enzo Maresca want them to go in and go and play matches. And of course, that is becoming a very, very good one for them. There's exactly what Enzo Maresca said about team and friend Leeds United and the game that Chelsea are going to play against them. Maresca said, we are in December. If in February or March, we are where we are now, we are going to be title contenders. And I like that. It's clear. And for me, that sets sends a message to the players now. Say, you can't be complacent, because after that win against Barcelona and Arsenal, the easiest thing for the players to do is to now feel like, everybody now says that we are good. So now we can take our foot off the pedal, or probably take our foot off the gas and relax more. But that can't be the case. It can't be the case because when you look at Enzo Maresca, he is literally drilling things into the heads of the boys and letting them understand, say, this is where you show your mettle. Like I said earlier on, this thing that you have, last season you had it. The difference was in December to January or February, thereabout, where you lost a truckload of games. Can you make the difference now? Can you change how you want to go on and go and play? If you're able to make the difference between December and then February, then obviously it's clear that you can go on and deliver and then get the results for yourself. Then you can go on and then get everything that you want to get in terms of scoring your goals, delivering, being important for the season, going in consistently. That is the most important thing. And for me also, it sort of makes the boys understand that they cannot be complacent, like I said. You have to focus on what's in front of you. And the big one is against Leeds United this evening, away from home at Ellen Road. And mind you, Chelsea had played Arsenal at home. They had played Barcelona at home. They had played Burnley away from home. So it means that in the Premier League, it was supposed to be one home, and then 3 away games. And that's why they played Burnley, after that Arsenal, and they're going to play 2 away from home. If you manage these away games, it's good. The good thing, however, Chelsea tend to be very successful when they play away from home. When they were playing against Arsenal, they had a very good record playing away from home. They had a not so good record, given how they had dropped points against teams like Sunderland, Brighton, and Hove Albion, the red cards in there when they played at home. But then going away from home, Chelsea seemed to be very, very good. And that's where the confidence is coming from. Maresca went on, he says that if we are able to survive or be there in February or March, for sure, we are going to be among the contenders. But now, I don't know where we are going to be in February. That's exactly what Enzo Maresca is saying right now. When it comes to February, he doesn't know where Chelsea are going to be. If they're able to stay focused going to the game and be able to get a job done, that's good. Now, this is where he uses the same word as Pep Guardiola used, and he uses the word consistency. Also, the teams that are able to be consistent in December, in January, are the teams that go in for it very much. They are going to be there for the title. That's why now the main focus is trying to be consistent in the next month, and then after that, if we are there near the top, we want to be there and we compete in case we are not going to set different targets or Honoma. And that's exactly what he's saying. So, I mean, it's about consistency from now. It's our Leeds game now, which is very, very important. So Chelsea for going to it with a lot of consistency, with a lot of focus, with a lot of beliefs that they can go on and then go and win the matches. Chelsea for, if you look at the record between Chelsea and any team, your friend Leeds United, a very, very interesting record. Anytime Chelsea go away from home to go and play against Leeds United, it's a very, very interesting game that we usually see. We see a lot of interesting stuff. We see the conversation around how a Chelsea forum wants to go in. Leeds forum almost lose a lot of the times these days. They went away to go and lose against my friend Manchester City, and they want to make sure so they stop the losing run. And it hasn't been easy, of course, in the Premier League. Ofi, championship now, Bancardia. I mean, it was not going to be easy for you. You're going to fail something. But in the second half against Manchester City, they showed something. However, in recent times, we've seen that teams score a lot of the times against Manchester City. A lot of the times, they score against them. Chelsea held leaders Arsenal 1-1. And if you look at the head-to-head history, Chelsea have won just 6 of their 48 historical away league games against Leeds United. When Chelsea go away to Leeds, it's tough. It's very, very tough. Leeds have only won 1 of their last 9 Premier League games against the Blues. They've drawn 2, lost 6. But that was in the last meeting at Ellen Road in 2022 against Chelsea. So it was under Thomas Tuchel. It was in the afternoon. We are poor Thomas Tuchel's second season. And of course, Ellen Road on them. Charlie, Leeds for no but Chelsea 3-0. It was such a game over there. It was one of the games that began to spell the end of Thomas Tuchel and the reign at Chelsea as Chelsea manager. That game against Leeds United. I think after that he went away to go and play against Dynamo Zagreb in the Champions League and also dropped points over there. And then of course from there, we all knew that Thomas Tuchel most likely was going to go Honum, and it was very, very interesting. Of course, I think that this is going to be a game that's going to be interesting. I mean, when you look at the dynamics of the game, the fact that Chelsea have won just a handful of their 48 games away from home. Leeds United don't hardly win against Chelsea. But then again, in the last few games, they've had some success. In the last time that Chelsea played over, Chelsea lost by 3-0 against Leeds United. So, I mean, the game makes it really, really intriguing for Chelsea to go into a match and they go and get a job done when it comes to the games. Though, I told you yesterday, now Erling Haaland did an absolute beast job and he got a job done. Pep Guardiola in our next game against Sunderland. Also, Manchester City's next game. Now we look at Sunderland. I saw their game against Fulham, and oh my God, now I understand why Sunderland are in the position they are in. No doubts, they are incredible. Top. And that's what Pep Guardiola. I mean, the job that Regis Lebris has done at Sunderland is fantastic, and everybody's talking about it. He has been brilliant in all connotations of the word. If you ever want to find out what the meaning of brilliance is, just look at Regis Lebris and the work that he's doing at Sunderland. And now back-to-back victories means that Man City are just within 2 points of Arsenal, and Arsenal cannot afford to lose at home against Brentford in the big London derby. It's a huge game for Arsenal, for Mikel Arteta and Branton, but even more so, also big for Abrantia, your friend Keith Andrews and Branton. It's probably going to be the battle of the set pieces in such a huge game. Inside game, Man City for no core week share against team, your friend Fulham over there. Erling Haaland has joined the Premier League 100 club. And look at the incredible numbers behind the century of goals. A lot of goals being scored by our your friend Erling Haaland. Obviously, very brilliant. And he has done an absolute huge job when it comes to the quality at your friend Erling Haaland. Like I said, in that game that made us lose some money was that match. Team your friend Bournemouth could not score against Everton, and the game ended 1-0 to Everton. I mean, not even just 2 goals in that match, and that was absolutely disappointing. Absolutely disappointing. But of course, in other matches, Barcelona at home, Jumani against Tima, your friend Atletico de Madrid. In fact, before this game, all of us had been speaking of the fact that it is difficult for Atletico de Madrid to go away to the Spotify Camp Nou and play against Barcelona. It happens almost every time. No matter the form that Atletico de Madrid are on, they just cannot beat Football Club Barcelona. Rafinha, after the game, everybody spoke to him and Rafinha said, Charlie, everybody say, nah, Barca had missed Rafinha. When you talk about the quality, what Rafinha adds to that Barcelona team, that intensity, the press, counter press, the ball winning ability, constricting the pitch, creating chances, being direct, the athleticism, everything that you want from the archetype of a modern day winger, Rafinha embodies it. And I mean, that's the conversation of why Ballon d'Or could not go to Rafinha when you're looking at individual performances alone. Yesterday was popped up. And again, Simeone Inzaghi, Diego Simeone was the one that brought it up. Rafinha, after the game, said that the higher we press, the closer we are to the opponent's goal. If we can recover as many balls as possible up front, that's much better because it gives us the chance to score goals. That's what I brought your friend Rafinha about how high they have to press and the effectiveness of their press, and if they're able to do that, where that takes them in terms of getting close to the opponent's goal and the goals that they'll be able to score. Hansi Flick will say it's always important to gain confidence against a good team like this one. It was extremely positive, and I'm very happy for the team. And it was a very, very good game because both teams were pressing. Atletico de Madrid tried to press. And of course, when the game started, Alex Baena breached the high line of Football Club Barcelona. But that is the thing with Barcelona. On a good day, they will outscore you because they have good scorers, they press high, they create more chances, and they make it very, very difficult for you to play against them or Horneman. That is the thing that was over, of course. And now, about your friend Gerard Martin was at left centre back, and you can't take anything away from him. I said it several times that Hansi Flick needs a natural left-footed centre back. It was affecting the balance at the back. When Inigo Martinez left, it left with everything. It left with that solidity in defense, the leadership skills, but more so the technical ability of a natural left-footed centre back. I mean, I remember saying this at the time, and a lot of Barca folks kept on asking me, "Oh, Masa, it's not true. How can you be when you're by force?" And there you have it. When Barca played in that game without a recognized left-footed centre back, we know how difficult it was for them even in build-up. But of course, I brought your friend Gerard Martin. He's the better defender than Ronald Araujo. But that gives them something else that if no one has. Flick, so it's always important to gain confidence against a good team. And like Atletico de Madrid, it had to happen. Dani Olmo is suffering from a shoulder problem. We will see more in detail from tomorrow. After the game, Hansi Flick said Pedri is fine. My brand here, friend, Rafinha also spoke. Rafinha said, I am in a very good shape, but I'm looking for the best physical version of myself. Of course, in a match like this, I had some fatigue, and in the end, that's why I asked to be substituted. I could no longer continue. Neither Pedri, I'm talking about the fact that boys now break up and down over Kwaba, so when playing a match like this, it's always difficult. And Rafinha again, I think the important thing is to believe in the work. We know there are lots of matches, and something like this can happen too. We have to be ready so that we can turn the score around. We are doing exactly that. We are working hard, and we are trying to get the job done. Of course, after in the game against Deportivo Alaves, Hansi Flick was not excited. Rafinha went to him and told him, "The coach, don't worry, why? We are very fine. Everything is going to be nice. We are very nice. Until how? Don't be too worried. Don't cry. We are very fine." And of course, in that game against Atletico de Madrid, Football Club Barcelona have delivered. And of course, he had a star man, Abrante Pedri Gonzalez, who was right there to make sure BBB come up Eddie Amoma or Horneman. And now you could tell what that game meant to Coach Hansi Flick. He just wanted to win against Atletico Club. He wanted to win against Atletico de Madrid. He wanted to get a win. And then Madrid has to find a response in a big manner away at Atletico Club. Charlie, Madrid in trouble. There are issues with the team. Vinny Jr., Xabi Alonso, what of you? But they need to find results. We'll see if they will be able to find results. So come back later in the day and talk about that. Until then, we'll take care. Bye-bye.